We eat big dogs for lunch. And we fix what others can't. Some of that's knowing the science, engineering, and craft of AC and plumbing better than the Bubbas, but it's also better planning. The key to actually doing same-day water heater replacement is having water heaters in stock and ready to go. And that's what we do. Gas, electric, tank, tankless, we got them all in stock and ready to roll for you. So if you want to avoid the bait-and-switch turd bucket tactics of the Bubbas, or if you discover you're in the middle of an all-talk, no-walk situation with a wannabe, well, you know who to call, right?
GriffinService.com.
CMC 1250697.
Hello, you have reached the Crooks R Us training helpline. Today, we're discussing the differences between a safe-touch security system and a do-it-yourself security system.
One's professionally installed and monitored, while the other one comes in a box.
Well, yeah, there's that. As you know, houses with safe-touch security systems are strictly off-limits to us crooks, for many reasons.
Professional installation and monitoring among them.
Correct. And by contrast, alarm systems that come in a box with do-it-yourself installation are a crook's best friend.
Plus, they have DIY monitoring. No comparison to SafeTouch's two-way communicator.
Excellent point. So to sum up, as crooks, you'll want to avoid any house with SafeTouch security. And tell your loved ones, if they're going to buy something that comes in a box, just make it cornflakes.
Only one security system is truly the best. Hi, I'm Lester Jackson, president of SafeTouch Security Systems. No one beats our technology or our price.
Call SafeTouch today at 888-723-8682 or go to safetouch.com. State license number EF233.
Where else can you get lunchin', brunchin', boozin' specials? Only one place, at Culhane's Irish Pub at Atlantic Beach and on the south side. It's as Irish as you can get, owned by 4 Irish sisters. And they've got fish and chips, of course, shepherd's pie. Go today for lunch or dinner. Eat in, order out. Culhane'sIrishPub.com for the full menu. And try the new Five Sisters vodka at happy hour. Luncheon, brunchin', boozin' specials, and so much more. 2 locations, Atlantic Beach and the south side. Culhane's Irish Pub, Irish Sass with 5-star class.
At Tire Outlet, we're committed to providing our customers with professional and honest automotive recommendations. Don't believe us? Check out our reviews online and see why we're Jacksonville's preferred automotive shop.
Great guys to work with, always very helpful and affordable.
With 12 locations across Northeast Florida, Tire Outlet can help keep you and your family safe on the road, wherever you are.
Wholesale prices, premium service, Tire Outlet.
Wendy's only makes one kind of breakfast, your new favorite one. How do we do it? With fresh cracked eggs, oven-baked bacon, and flaky croissants. You know, the things your old breakfast wasn't doing. So toss that old news and its soggy eggs somewhere useful. And get to Wendy's, where the sausage, egg, and Swiss croissant, bacon, egg, and Swiss croissant, and honey butter chicken biscuit are just 2 for $4. Choose wisely. Choose Wendy's 2 for $4.
Limited time only. Single item at regular price. Price and participation may vary at U.S. Wendy's.
Well, every day we're just trying to go out and be the best that we can. Represent this program, represent those that have come before us. Obviously it's an emotional week with Coach Bowden's passing, but it is also an opportunity to celebrate, his life and who he was and the legacy that he left. And I talked about earlier in the week. We have a standard of how we need to operate, and we've got to improve daily. We got to work daily, and that's going to be our daily focus.
Well, Coach Bobby Bowden set that standard at Florida State. Today celebrated in Tallahassee all day long as several memorials and services going on today and for open to the public for fans to see. And there was, I retweeted someone that said there was basically a line around the building to get in Tallahassee. I think it was open for 5 hours to pay your respects to Bobby Bowden. Of course, we have a bunch of conversations with former players and people impacted by Coach Bowden over the years, all the way back from Sunday through the rest of the week. You can check them out, Action Sports Shacks on ESPN 690 podcast. Make sure you subscribe to that. And then tomorrow there will be more celebrations and remembrances in honor of Bobby Bowden. And then Sunday, the scene shifts to Alabama, the home state for Bobby Bowden, and that's where he will be buried on Sunday. An emotional week, but at the same time, almost a celebratory week of a legend of a man and a legend of a coach continues for the Florida State Seminoles. And the Florida State Seminoles put on pads today for the first time, and they did that right here at UNF at practice. So a second of 2 practices, one yesterday, one today, and now they'll head back to Tallahassee for the weekend. They'll have a scrimmage tomorrow night. So Florida State starting to get after it as the college football season is just around the corner. Speaking of just around the corner, the high school football season, 2 weeks from today, it gets going. It actually starts a week from today because the jamborees and all the exhibition games will take place. Georgia, actually, I think gets going next week for real. I think the games start going next week. We will have our Blitz scoreboard show and all our Friday night coverage start 2 weeks from today on the radio side. On TV, on CBS 47 and Fox 30, the Friday Night Blitz gets cooking next Friday with a little bit of a preview show and some highlights from around the area. So, hey, man, it's a fun time of year. The cool thing about you, Austin, is you get to kind of like, as I'm saying all that, you can kind of feel what it was in high school when you were like a sophomore, a junior, a senior, as you're about a week away from getting things going and school was starting. And then you had the same experience, but a little bit different probably when you experienced the Murray State days and then the NFL days. If you could go back and relive one of them, which would it be?
Definitely high school, because that was the coolest temperatures. Because leaves were changing colors, the fresh cut grass falls in the air, if you will. Fall doesn't exist in Jacksonville, Florida. It's hot, and then it'll be like 30 degrees for like 2 days, and then it's hot again. So you don't really have the changing of seasons here. So definitely high school.
Yeah, it is. That's an interesting reason why to go back to that level. But around here, you can be playing. I mean, you can get a game in October and even November that's nice and cool and feels a little bit almost like fall-like. But you can also still get 80-plus and 88, and you're sitting there in late October and early November, and you're like, what is this?
For sure.
But those kids are used to it, of course. If you were to play high school football down here, you're like, this does not feel like high school football. This feels like 7-on-7 camp in the summer.
Yeah.
Of course, they didn't have that either.
And say we had that. 7-on-7? No, we never had that. I think that took place like maybe 5 years after I left high school. So like,
really? So it's that new.
It is new, yes.
You are such a dinosaur now. Did you practice in high school and have two-a-days?
Oh, of course. You better believe it. Yep, we had two-a-days. We had a camp-out thing where we each had to bring a tent, and we camped out for a night, and then had practice the next morning as well. So I was part of the old school two-a-days kind of things, and we had those cotton pants as well, which were the worst ever. Because, like most pants are like, I don't know what kind of material. It's like they're like spandex, Yeah, we had cotton. So literally it was like resistance training because like once those got sweaty, you gain 25 pounds. You can't move in them. I was like an offensive lineman at 210 pounds trying to move out there. I couldn't do it.
That's funny you say that because I was talking to my mom the other day and she was like, do you still have, I guess we were talking about the temperatures. Because she said it's really hot up in Rhode Island last couple of days, like super hot. And we said, well, yeah, it's kind of like this all the time here. And she said, you still have those Under Armour shirts? And I'm like, well, yeah, but I think like everybody now makes those Under Armour shirts.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
It was just funny how like that stuck out to her that somewhere along the way Under Armour created something that nobody else was doing.
Right.
Which they did.
Yes.
Which they did for a bit, but now everybody makes the same kind of shirt. Yeah, now I get that, and it's got no brand on it, Mom, and it's like $8.
There you go. And it feels exactly the same.
And it feels exactly the same. Hey, you know what? I was thinking of this with all our NFL talk, with all our quarterback talk. I wonder what we'll be talking about coming out of this weekend with Justin Fields playing, Trevor Lawrence playing. Obviously, Mac Jones got going yesterday. All these rookie quarterbacks are going to be the stories that people follow up on.
Mm-hmm.
But I thought about it in terms of like Carolina. For some reason, Carolina was on my mind. And the Sam Darnold story of the offseason has been so quiet here in August. Am I missing it? Have more people been talking about Sam? This feels like a big NFL story coming over from the Jets. And I kind of forgot he was over there.
Yeah, it's called the Sam Darnold effect. When you have mono one week and then you see ghost the next week, people aren't going to get behind you that much, and people are going to be questioning if you're the right quarterback for the job. And then overall, not the most successful career in New York or at the time, Poverty franchise. I said it, poverty franchise. And then you trade him to Carolina. Well, Carolina, the last couple of years that they're rebuilding in their own right. So I just think a bunch of things went against Sam Darnold. And, compared to Aaron Rodgers, Deshaun Watson, Russell Wilson, Trevor Lawrence, even like Justin Herbert, Joe Burrow, he is the second fiddle there just because, he's kind of like vanilla ice cream at the moment.
Yeah, well, I mean, it's hard to be an under-the-radar story in the NFL, and I guess if you kept the NFL Network on all the time, maybe some Sam Darnold questions are coming up. But I have NFL Network and ESPN on a lot, like in my house or in the office or wherever, and just don't hear much about Sam Darnold in Carolina. I find that a little bit interesting.
But, Brent, let's be honest. What do we know Sam Darnold for? Literally his biggest claim to fame is that he saw ghosts.
Yeah.
Honestly.
Yeah, but, I mean, it's a lot for them to, bring him in, have expectation for him. I figured we'd get a little bit more of a daily update. Hey, the second chance, just the fact that the Jets unloaded him might even add some weight to it from a national perspective.
Sure, but then let me ask you then, should we be talking about Josh Rosen as well?
No, because that's like on its fourth cycle.
Okay.
I think we were talking a little bit about Josh Rosen when he went to Miami initially. Maybe not a lot, but I feel like we would have been. That was such an odd deal. But I get your point there. But I think there's still hope for Sam Darnold, and obviously Carolina thinks so too. That's we want to criticize. If you're going to compare him to Rosen, then it's easy to say, what the hell was Carolina thinking? And I think a lot of people did say that at the time. Or, how's this going to work out? And I've just been a little surprised at the lack of updates, if you will, from the Carolina camp. Are there any other story? It's hard to be an NFL story and go under the radar. Is there anything else from the, all the hubbub of the offseason, the silly season, the moving and shaking that's been a little quiet? And I would say here's another one. I don't feel like everybody was talking about Arizona with all the moves made. They obviously have Kyler. They got DeAndre Hopkins. We had J.J. Watt. They got, even the Chandler Jones story was a little something for a little bit.
A.J. Green.
A.J. Green, you're right. So, and I would just say in this camp.
That's an offense right there.
I would say in this camp, I just haven't heard much about Arizona. How are they doing out there? Have you heard some?
No, I mean, you know how I feel about it. ESPN, Arizona was last year. I'm on ESPN Jalen Hurts this year, so I'm not sure how Kyler Murray is doing. We wish him nothing but the best from the show. Obviously, I got to move on now. It's time to go on to bigger and better things, but we do wish Kyler Murray nothing but the best.
Well, that's good. I'm glad. I'm trying to think of under